A lot of people have criticized the Vision Fund because very few of us have seen anything of the scale and the style in terms of investing. So some of the critics say the Vision Fund is actually force-feeding young technology companies with more capital than they actually deserve or need, and that too much capital will actually lead to waste and inefficiency. The Vision Fund is also criticized for fueling a technology asset bubble, such as the one we saw in the late 1990s and the early 2000s. They've got so much money and such a massive arsenal of dosh to deploy, they are accused of fueling an elevation of valuations beyond what is reasonable. Now, because the investee companies have huge amounts of capital, some people argue that they are protected from real commercial competition. They just fall back on the deep capital that they've obtained from the Vision Fund. Some of the business models in the companies the Vision Fund has invested in are relatively easy to duplicate, some of the critics argue, and that could put the fund at risk. Also, this is the largest fund that's ever been raised, and the larger the fund, the more difficult it is to generate returns on it because it's off such a large base. Now, the size of the task indicates that Mr. Sun may have spread himself too thin. Some say he's doing all these things and he's spread himself too thin and may not be as effective as they hope he is. Also, Mr. Sun is being accused of being overly optimistic. Final criticisms say he's the only person who understands how the entire portfolio of investments works and whether it all makes sense. Now, most of the investments have a 30% or lower shareholding. So the fund's ability to influence or make majority decisions is frequently limited, and they can't force the companies they own to do certain things. However, that said, frequently with the 30% shareholding, the fund is actually the largest single shareholder. So these are just some of the criticisms of the fund. The generic ones say most of the firms are currently unprofitable. That's generic for a lot of your emerging technology companies. Ultimately, we are going to see whether Mr. Sun has unmatched success or suffers outright failure. The detail will take place in time.